Look at the world right now. Tech companies are locked in a frantic race to build artificial intelligence, while global ecosystems buckle under immense strain. And everyone watching this unfold, even the engineers building these systems, seems to share a creeping sense of absolute powerlessness. If the public is anxious, and the creators of these technologies are explicitly warning us that things are moving too fast, what exactly is stopping us from simply hitting the brakes? This chart illustrates a biological glitch hardwired into the human brain, hyperbolic discounting. The steep, high peak shows how strongly we value immediate, tangible rewards. The flat line at the bottom represents how we perceive future risks. We are neurobiologically programmed to ignore distant, abstract threats, even when they grow massively over time, in exchange for a quick dopamine hit today. Our inability to halt the collision between exponential technology and ecological limits isn't driven by a malicious conspiracy. We are watching a biological mismatch play out in real time. We are applying the short-term survival instincts of a Pleistocene hunter-gatherer to the deployment of global supercomputers. That individual biological flaw didn't stay confined to our brains. We built it into the foundation of our global operating system, liberal economics. When you look at corporate fiduciary duty or national GDP metrics, you are looking at hyperbolic discounting codified into law. These systems are highly efficient at optimizing for localized quarterly returns, but they are completely blind to long-term distributed ruin. There is no line item on a balance sheet for the preservation of a habitable atmosphere or a stable cognitive environment. By hardwiring a biological blind spot into global markets, humanity has constructed a socio-economic architecture that actively penalizes restraint and prevents any meaningful self-regulation. Curious, analytical tone. This dynamic creates what game theorists call a multipolar trap, or a Darwinian demon. Watch this model of competing actors. If one entity, the green note here, decides to act responsibly and slow down, it doesn't stabilize the system. It simply gets swallowed and overtaken by aggressive competitors who keep pushing forward. In a globalized market, survival requires rapid, continuous growth. The system violently punishes any corporation or nation-state that exercises caution, forcing the remaining nodes to expand just to stay alive. A CEO might logically want a safe, shared environment for their children, but their immediate requirement is market survival. If they pause AI development to ensure safety, their competitors will crush them, and their shareholders will replace them with someone who won't hesitate. The rules required to survive in the short-term market guarantee collective collapse in the long term. The system is inherently self-terminating. Artificial intelligence acts as the terminal accelerant of this multipolar trap, operating at a speed that precludes human institutional adaptation. To capture fractional quarterly market advantages, companies are executing an agency transfer. Capital is being aggressively routed into granting autonomous capabilities to these systems so they can operate faster than humanly possible. Meanwhile, verifiable safety and alignment research are severely underfunded. The market prioritizes rapid deployment and dominance over caution. As these models are deployed, they flood the digital environment with synthetic data. This degrades what we call the cognitive commons, eroding the shared reality, trust, and epistemic foundations required for democratic societies to coordinate. By hyper-accelerating the economic trap while simultaneously destroying our ability to communicate truthfully, AI eliminates the primary mechanism we need to coordinate an escape. This radar chart maps the 9 planetary boundaries, strict physical thresholds within which humanity can safely operate. As you can see, 6 of these segments are already flashing critical, bursting past the safe inner perimeter. The digital acceleration is slamming into the physical limits of the Earth. AI compute requires immense expenditures of energy, metals, and freshwater, pushing the boundaries of climate, freshwater, and land system change even further outward. We often assume that smarter technology will lead to resource conservation. But historically, we see the Jevans Paradox play out. Efficiency gains lower the cost of resource use, which ironically drives total consumption up. AI optimizes extraction, logistics, and production, By hypercharging the liberal economic engine, AI accelerates the throughput of material consumption, pushing humanity past the remaining boundaries of biosphere integrity and chemical pollution. The drive for infinite computational supremacy does not happen in a vacuum. It requires burning down the finite physical biosphere required to house it. Biologists have a term for this trajectory: evolutionary suicide. It occurs when a species becomes so perfectly adapted to exploiting its immediate environment that it entirely destroys the carrying capacity of that environment. Humanity is currently engaged in the most significant manifestation of this phenomenon in recorded history. We are optimizing hyper-intelligent systems to maximize capital accumulation and technological dominance over our rivals. We are attempting to win a finite, short-term game of Monopoly, extracting the final margins of profit on a board that is actively collapsing under the weight of previous industrial eras. The survival of our species is currently threatened by the terrifying perfection of our own unyielding incentive structures. To survive, humanity must achieve what biology rarely manages: a conscious, coordinated override of its own competitive instincts. We have to transition away from systems that reward localized, short-term extraction and build systems that explicitly mandate long-term systemic preservation. Ultimately, a failure to coordinate a deliberate deceleration across these overlapping systems represents a terminal evolutionary dead end.